The prize that Johnny Weissmuller has 52 titles at the national level and 67 world records. During his life, Johnny Weissmuller never lost a swimming competition. He was known as Tarzan, the Olympic champion, but he wasn't even American. For 80 years, he lived in fear that his secret would destroy him, so he changed his name to that of his brother, lied to 5 wives, and even his son didn't know the truth. But the lies were just the beginning. What happened to Johnny and his son in their last years was much worse. There were 2 men with different lives, but the same sad end. Today, we reveal the dark truth that Hollywood tried to hide. The public knew him as Johnny Weissmuller, the Olympic legend and the real Tarzan, but his life was more difficult than that. He told everyone he was born in America, but he wasn't. Johnny was born with the name Johann Peter Weissmuller on June 2, 1904, in Friorf, Romania, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time. For years, he said he was born in Windber, Pennsylvania, but that was a lie, and not just a small one. It was a plan made by his whole family. The problem came up before the 1924 Olympics, when officials asked for proof of his American citizenship. Johnny couldn't compete without it, so he and his mother did something brave. They switched his identity with that of his younger brother. Peter Johnny turned into Peter John Weissmuller, supposedly born in Pennsylvania. Even the church records were changed. Someone added the name John to Peter's baptism entry using different ink, and handwriting. The lie worked, but Johnny was never free from it. He worried for the rest of his life that if the truth came out, his medals would be taken away, his reputation would be ruined. His secret was so well hidden that even his own son didn't learn the truth until after Johnny died in 1984. Johnny's life in America began in January 1905. He was just 7 months old when his family arrived at Ellis Island. They had spent 12 days on a ship, the SS Rotterdam, coming from Holland. His parents, Peter and Elizabeth, had very little money, just $23.50, maybe even less. They were headed to Windber, Pennsylvania. A relative had paid for their trip. Peter found work as a coal miner, and their second son, Peter Jr., was born that September in 1908. The family moved to Chicago. They rented a modest home near Lincoln Park. And reunited with Elizabeth's parents, the neighborhood was filled with German-speaking immigrants from Frieder. It felt familiar. As a boy, Johnny often visited the zoo nearby. That early love for animals would later shine through when he played Tarzan. Ironically, his father didn't become a United States citizen until 1937, long after Johnny had won Olympic gold at age 9. Johnny got polio. The disease was deadly, and it left many kids paralyzed, but a doctor gave some advice: try swimming to regain strength. Johnny took the advice. He snuck into the YMCA by lying about his age. He also swam at Fullerton Beach in Lake Michigan. Slowly, his body got stronger. His recovery was so complete that by age 11 he was winning races. He also ran and high jumped. The boy who had once been weak was now a force. Swimming had saved his life, and soon it would make him famous, but the fear of being exposed never left him. In 1920, for a congressman from Illinois questioned Johnny's citizenship. That's when the full family cover-up kicked in. Johnny and his mother pretended he was Peter John Weissmuller, born in Pennsylvania. His real brother Peter acted as though he was the Romanian-born one. The church records were changed, and Johnny denied any connection to Romania. He kept this up for life. Not one of his 5 wives knew the truth, not even his son. After Johnny died, his son raised a toast to the old man. He sure could keep a secret. By 16, Johnny had serious talent but needed a coach. In 1920, he tried out at the Illinois Athletic Club. Coach William Back was known for being strict. When he saw Johnny swim, he saw raw talent, but also sloppy technique. He told Johnny they'd have to start from zero. Johnny listened. He had dropped out of school after his abusive father left, but he was smart and disciplined. Johnny wasn't even allowed to enter at first because Bakra wanted everything to be perfect. All of his hard work paid off quickly. In 1922, Johnny had a year no one had ever seen before in swimming. He won 9 national championships. He broke 24 world records. Some days he entered 5 events and won them all. He competed in everything from sprints to the pentathlon. By 1923, he held most of the world's records in distances from 50 meters to 500 yards that year. He also added 15 American records. He traveled constantly for competitions. Half the year he was living out of suitcases, competing in cities all over the United States. One of his most legendary swims in open water, 100 yards in 52.8 seconds. That time stood for decades. Then came the 1924 Olympics in Paris. Johnny was just 20, but he was already a superstar. He won 3 gold medals in the 100-meter freestyle, the 400-meter freestyle, and the 4x200 relay. He also helped the United States win a bronze in water polo. In the 100-meter final, he beat his hero Duke Kahanamoku. Before the race, Duke had said, "Johnny, good luck. The most important thing is to get the American flag up there 3 times. Johnny did exactly that, but it wasn't just his medals that fans loved. Between events, Johnny and his teammate Stubby Kruger put on silly diving shows. Johnny would do perfect dives, while Stubby did clown routines. The crowd loved it so much they demanded more. Eventually, Olympic officials banned such fun from future games. In 1928, Johnny went to the Amsterdam Olympics. He won 2 more gold medals, the 100-meter freestyle and the 4x200 relay, that brought his Olympic total to 5 golds and 1 bronze. He could have 1 more, but officials pulled him from the 400-meter event to help the water polo team, which didn't even medal. Still, Johnny's record was near perfect after 1 early loss in 1921. He never lost another amateur race. In 1927, he swam the 100-yard freestyle in 51 seconds, a record that stood for 17 years. In 1940, as a professional, he swam it even faster, 48.5 seconds. But since he was no longer an amateur, it didn't count officially. In the summer of 1931, something unexpected happened at the Hollywood Athletic Club. MGM screenwriter Cyril Hume was working out when he saw a man swimming laps with perfect form. That man was Johnny Weissmuller, a 5-time Olympic gold medalist. People often stopped to watch him swim, but Hume saw more than just an athlete. He saw the perfect. The Tarzan management had already chosen someone else to play the part, Herman Brix. But Brix got hurt while working on another movie, so the studio had to start over. When Hume saw Johnny, all 6 feet 3 inches and 190 pounds of muscle, he knew right away that this was their jungle hero. Heyman met Johnny and was impressed when Johnny said his name. Heyman joked that it was too long for a movie poster, but when Heyman heard about the Olympic medals, he changed his mind. "Fine," he said. "We'll just make the marquee bigger and put a lot of swimming in the movie." Filming started on October 31st. 1931. It was finished in just 8 weeks, but this wasn't Johnny's first time in front of a camera. 3 years earlier, in 1929, he had a tiny role in a movie called Glorifying the American Girl. He played an Adonis wearing nothing but a fig leaf. It was a short, silent appearance in a pre-code musical full of bold costumes and even nudity. Johnny was in New York at the time promoting swimwear for BVD. A film producer saw him and offered the role, but BVD didn't like their star model appearing so exposed on screen. Most of Johnny's footage was cut. Still, the film was later restored to its full 96 minutes, and his appearance is now a small but curious part of film history. BVD had a strong grip on Johnny's career. He had been their top model since 1928, earning $500 a week, much more than MGM's original offer of $175.